This is CNN Breaking News.
We do have major breaking news for you this morning involving the Israel-Hamas war. The International Criminal Court just this morning announced it is seeking arrest warrants for Israel's political and military leadership, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Galant, on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity, and for 3 leaders of Hamas for the October 7th terrorist attack, including Yahya Sinwar, who is in Gaza, and Ismail Haniyeh, who lives in Qatar and has been party to the ceasefire negotiations. CNN's chief international anchor and correspondent Christian Amanpour broke this story in an exclusive interview with ICC prosecutor Karim Khan. You're joining us now from The Hague. Christian, can you give us what details stood out to you during this interview in an unprecedented move by the ICC?
Absolutely. In terms of unprecedented, that's because the charges against Israel are for the first time a charge against an actual democracy and a democratic leader. I think one must not de-emphasize and ignore the severity of the charges against Hamas. And they issued this seeking approval for arrest warrants according to the timeline. So they laid out the arrest warrants that they want for Hamas, which included 8 counts of crimes against humanity and war crimes, which were, mass killings. They call it extermination, torture, rape and sexual assault, even in captivity of the hostages, all the things that went on against the civilians inside Israel on October 7th. And then they turned to what happened and subsequently in Israel's war against Gaza and against Hamas, where they focused quite heavily on starvation as a weapon of war. Here is what ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan told me. We're here at the ICC. You are today announcing that you are applying for arrest warrants for top military and political leadership in the Israel-Gaza war since the October 7th events. First and foremost, explain to me exactly what you're asking for and who you are charging.
Today, Christian, we've applied for warrants to the pretrial chamber of the International Criminal Court in relation to 3 individuals that are Hamas members. Sinwar, who's in charge on the ground.
That's Yahya Sinwar?
Absolutely. Daif, who's in charge of the Al-Qassam Brigade, and Haniyeh, who's one of their political bureau based in Doha.
What are the charges?
The charges are extermination, murder, taking of hostages, rape and sexual assault in detention. So these are the key crimes that are alleged to have been committed by these 3 individuals. The world was shocked on the 7th of October when people were ripped from their bedrooms, from their homes, from the different kibbutzim in Israel. And people have suffered enormously, and we have a variety of evidence to support the applications that we've submitted to the judges.
You have also issued warrants against the top political and military leadership of the government of the State of Israel.
We've applied for warrants. Of course, the judges must determine whether or not to issue them, but we've applied today, we'll apply for warrants for Prime Minister Netanyahu and also Minister of Defense Galant for the crimes of causing extermination, causing starvation as a method of war, including the denial of humanitarian relief supplies, deliberately targeting civilians in conflict.
So again, this process right now is to request the arrest warrants. That will be a panel of trial judges here at the ICC. Will examine this request and then will rule on it one way or another. ICC Prosecutor Khan was at pains to tell me that already he had an independent panel to look over these, this step of the process and to judge whether they were on the right track. And unanimously they did. And there were very distinguished global jurists, including Theodore Ted Meron, who was the former ICC president and also himself a Holocaust survivor, and at one point he was advisor to the Israeli Foreign Ministry many decades ago. So they have a very distinguished panel of jurists who he ran all this by before even making today's announcement. And what they agree is that the ICC has requested and has presented what the evidence it says could get a conviction, not just that would stand up in a court and go to trial, but that could get a conviction based on all the evidence they have presented, some of which is in the public sphere on both sides, some of which they have received from talking to all the relevant individuals and parties, victims and others.
Christian Amanpour, such great reporting. This is huge news. It's going to have both political and diplomatic fallout as we go out throughout the day and week and many months to go. Thank you so much for all of your reporting there.